Hey guys, how y'all doing? This is Sunday evening, and I was sitting here, and I have not made a video in a while, but I'm sitting in my bedroom, and I'm like, oh, you got to go to the front, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. You don't have to do nothing no more. You got to just be obedient to what God is telling you to do, and then stay on your assignment. I don't know why He have this in my spirit right now, but whatever it is, it must need to be delivered, and I'm gonna do it right this second. So we're gonna be obedient to what God is saying. And yeah, welcome to my bedroom, y'all. Y'all gonna get a lot more videos from here, because if I'm back here and he give me an assignment to perform, then that's what we are going to do. I want to talk to you today about being connected to your blessing, because sometimes we miss our blessing because we let things go that are connected to the blessing. So let me give you a quick view. We're gonna be in 2 Samuel, and I just want to read a small portion of the story about the Ark of the Covenant, with where David is concerned, because you know he was a man after God's own heart, and he was somebody that you could he wasn't perfect, and that's the good thing about God. He don't even look for perfect people, because those people don't exist. That was only Jesus Christ. So let's start with 2 Samuel. We're going into chapter 6, and we're going to I'm going to read from well, let me give you a little pre-story, and then I'll read the verse that's pertaining to what I want to talk about. uh David, uh the ark was at the home of Abinadab, and he had two sons, Uzzah and Aho. And those two sons came along with David to help to bring the ark of the covenant. And God has a certain way of doing things. And Uzzah made the mistake of trying to steady the ark, because the oxen stumbled, and that made the ark kind of, it was shaky. So he was trying to put it back on a strong foundation. And what ended up happening in the process was God was angered because of the way that he touched the ark of the covenant. And see, the ark of God, and because it's a holy thing, and if it's, you don't just touch holy things, just like you can't walk on the ground that's holy. And so what God did, he struck him dead out of anger. And so we'll take it from right there. We're going to go from the 6th chapter, verse 8. Then David was angry because the Lord's wrath had broken out against Uzzah. And to this day, the place is called Perez Uzzah. David was also afraid of the Lord that day, and said, how can the ark of the Lord ever come to me? He was not willing to take the ark of the Lord to be with him in the city of David. Instead, he took it to the house of Obed Edom. Remember that name, is going to be important. The Gittite. The ark of the Lord remained in the house of Obed Edom, the Gittite, for 3 months, and the Lord blessed him and his entire household. His blessing was connected to the ark. You see that? Okay. Now the king of David was told, the Lord has blessed the household of Obed Edom and everything he has, because of the ark of God, and because of the ark of God. So David went to bring up the ark of God from the house of Obed Edom to the city of David with rejoicing. When those who were carrying the ark of the Lord had taken 6 steps, he sacrificed a bull and a fattened calf, wearing a linen ephod. David was dancing before the Lord with all his might, while he and all of Israel was bringing up the ark of the Lord with shouts and sounds of the trumpets. As the ark of God was entering the city of David, Michal, the daughter of Saul, watched from the window. And when she saw David leaping and dancing before the Lord, she despised him in her heart. We'll deal with that part later. I read a little bit farther than I wanted to. But the main part I want you to get is from verse 6, verse 6, verse 8 through 15. Okay, the story is David was upset with God, but he also feared God. Okay. He they were not handling the ark of God right in the first place. God wasn't happy with the way they were doing things. He did it differently the second time. But here's the deal. He dropped the ark off to the Gittite Obed Edom. And you know what he did? He took care of the ark in a proper way, and everything and everybody that was connected to Obed Edom was blessed. Okay, the whole house blessed, everybody dancing around, all there living in abundance. You know, God was taking care of them and everything else, but the connection was to the ark. Now David had the ark first. God had allowed him to go and get the ark and bring it back to the city of David. And here's the deal, this is what David did. You know, after he was upset and grieving and angry with God because his friend was dead, he released the blessing to somebody else. When he found out how blessed Obed Edom was, though, he hurried up and went back and got his blessing. And how many times and how many people have you been connected to who have been blessed? And because they're blessed, you're blessed. See, I sat around and I thought about this because my sister had talked to me about a minister was preaching, ministering about being blessed and the connection to the blessing. And I kept hearing that. I kept hearing God giving me another revelation to whatever he was saying, because there's so many places in the Bible that we are connected to people who are blessed, and and because they're blessed, you're blessed. And in a lot of areas, people are blessed and they're blessed to be a blessing to other folks. But then you have folks that come along and they're jealous, and instead of celebrating that person and helping them to move to the next level so they could be covered in the blessing when it's time to be blessed, they run away and they talk and they get upset about how God is blessing you. See, this is what I've learned in the few years that I've been uh studying, really paying attention to what God is saying. I'm gonna go back to what I know to be true. Each of us are filled. Each of us are assigned. Each of us are given an assignment, a purpose, and a reason to be here on this earth, to do something, to connect to somebody, to share whatever God has in us for the next person that's connected to you. When they're blessed, you're blessed. Okay, so when you're waiting and trying to establish um, whatever God has placed in you to get done, why don't you step in and help somebody that's already doing something to get their dreams started? Celebrate them. I've said this many times. I don't know how many times you're going to hear it, and I don't know how many times God going to have me to repeat it. But if you celebrate somebody who's trying to do something, go in and go see where they're working and get to work. Go in and see what they're doing. See where God is in it. We did a Bible study on uh seeing where God is and going on and get to work in that area, because we're assigned to something in our lives. Now listen, it got some people that's like, if it's not happening for them, they're not going to try to make it happen for you, and that's fine. You be that way, but you need to learn to let go of strongholds. And some of the strongholds are, you're jealous, your ego and your pride is too big to step out and do something that'll make somebody else shine. Because if you're not shining in that light, then you don't want to be anywhere in the light. But if you are a true believer in what God has told you to do, then you will find where you are needed and get to work. Don't let the spirits of this world keep you from doing the work of the kingdom. Now, David was grieved because his friend was killed. God was angered because of the way they were handling the ark of the Lord. Now, what if your sole assignment was to come here and help somebody else realize their dream? But because you put your pride and your ego first, you couldn't see your way clear to do what God has assigned you to do in your life. And I think about that all the time because it's so important for me that my assignment be fulfilled. I have helped a lot of people do things or help their vision come to life. It's not important who it was or what I did. What's important is that I was obedient to God. And being obedient to God is more important than anything I could do with my own little self. I'm gonna tell you right now. Everything that God has assigned me to do, I am only the facilitator of what He has told me to do or what I believe He has told us to do. We're all creative people. We have imaginations. The first thing that happens when God gives you an idea is you have to get it in your head first. Once it's realized, the vision, he maps the vision out and make it clear to you. Habakkuk 2, he says, write it down. And the people who can catch your vision will catch it and run with it. And so what I'm saying is, here in this particular story, the blessing was connected to the ark. David knew he was blessed because he was a man after God's own heart. His assignment was to take care of the ark, bring it back to the city of David. But in the midst of all that, his friend was killed. And because his friend was killed, he couldn't see past the grief and the anger of God. But he feared, he knew enough to know that God was still his source. So then once he heard how everything was going at Obed Edom's house, how he was being blessed and how everybody connected to him was being blessed, then he knew that he had to get himself back in line and go get that ark so that he could be blessed. Okay, so just remember this. You never know who you are assigned to work with, to help their life be better, to help them to move from depressed to happiness, or we want to say joy, to move from depressed to joy, because joy is longer. And remember this too, that our assignment is about love. We have to love one another. I don't know about you. I'm not going to act like I love everybody, but I'm doing my best and I'm striving not to have no ill will in my heart for anybody, because the ultimate commandment from God is that we love each other. I know that He won't let me leave it alone. I think it's been a big revelation in my life for many years now, because there were some people that I thought in my life, hey, you ain't gonna never get right with they not gonna never be a part of you loving or caring anything about them. No, you forgive people and you move on and you increase the joy and the love in your life. And you know we have to always practice the fruit of the spirit. Okay, you got to know how to gain your peace. That's the fruit of the spirit. How to operate and get joy. You're going to have long suffering. You got to be uh God, why won't it come to me now? It's not flowing to me right now, but I'm gonna come back to that because I need to put that out there, because the fruit of the spirit is one of the most important things that you'll ever have in your life. Okay, so okay, let's do it. Here it is: patience, kindness, love, peace, joy, long suffering. Um, is faith in there? I'm not sure. I may have missed one. But for the most part, if you carry all the fruits of the spirit, you're going to reproduce after your kind. Okay? If you produce love, you're going to get love. If you operate in peace, you keep everything around you peaceful. If you are patience, that's the other one, patience. Be patient with people. I'm going to tell you right now, being a caregiver takes every fruit of the spirit, supernatural power to get through a day sometimes. Okay? And so I'm connected. I'm connected. I truly believe this. I am connected solely in some cases to be here to be a blessing to women. And every time I think about it, even when I was on the line of J. Alexander's restaurant, I knew I was connected to women because that was my assignment. God gave me that assignment so many years ago. I knew it. I didn't know how to make it happen. My sister's keeper is how I make it happen. My sister's keeper is something I would do for free. I would put on events. I would do anything to make it happen, to care for a woman from her head to her toes. Why? Because she is that important to me. So the blessing is in the connection. Okay. Just like Obed Edom was blessed the 3 months that he had the Ark of the Covenant, and everybody around him was blessed. That's the story that you need to really take a look at. I'm telling you, it's in 2 Samuel chapter 6. And just read the whole chapter. It's a good story, and it shows you how being connected is how you can celebrate and help others realize their dreams. And then God has to bless you. He has to bless you. He's not going to do for one person and not do for the next. We don't if we could see past our own stuff, then we would understand how important God is in our life and the place he holds in your life. Hopefully he is at the head of your life, and hopefully, prayerfully, that you are understanding, or your eyes are open to what your assignment is here in the earth. And let me tell you something that's really been pressing me, because the word assignment keeps coming forth. And that's when it's just like if you were at school and the teacher gave you a homework assignment, or you knew that your next class you didn't study enough and you're going to mess up on this assignment. Guess what? In the middle of the assignment, sometimes we mess up, but long as you get back on track, you're going to still probably arrive at the destination you were always supposed to arrive at in the first place. Now, David got upset because his friend was killed. And he was angry with God because his friend was killed. But he wasn't foolish. Okay? He wasn't foolish enough to not obey God. He wasn't foolish enough not to see where he had fallen short. And then when he started seeing Obed Edom getting all blessed and having everything he needed, because that Ark of the Covenant was sitting over there at his house, he hurried up and went snatched that Ark back. He went and got him back. And how many of y'all know that if you're connected, you can see, oh man, I see that blessing right there. There has to be somebody that's connected. And then you get connected to that person, and you have to be blessed because you're connected to the blessing. I'm telling you, I'm going to give you a little bit of the other story that the other minister talked about, Pastor Renee Brown. He was talking about how Lot was connected to the blessing because he was connected to Abraham. And I have been dancing around in that story for a long time in Genesis, where Abraham and Sarah, and how God uh, connected them to their blessing. All it was about was really being obedient to what God said. Hagar was even blessed with her child. Nothing was going to ever happen to Ishmael because he was connected to the blessing. And if you view the whole story of Sarah and Abraham, not just the little bit that's around him and Sarah, but the little bit with, if you make a circle and you see the lines, just draw the lines to all the people who were blessed because of Abraham. Abraham is the center. And then Abraham's connection was with God. He honored God. He believed God. He had faith in what God was saying. And because Lot was connected to Abraham, he was blessed. Because Sarah was connected to Abraham, she was blessed. Because Hagar was connected to Abraham, she was blessed. And in all those stories, y'all might say, well, I don't see how Hagar was blessed because this or that happened. Read the story and just look past what your eyes see. Start to imagine, because God gave you your imagination to help you to create. So then you have creation in your head. All you have to do is find a way to get it to realization. Okay, so when you think about it, when you look at it, when you see the big picture, because all of us start off with a picture, but when you get to the big picture, you see it all laid out. And sometimes God gives you no, I'm gonna just say it like this. Y'all know I work insurance, and in the beginning, because there's so much to know about insurance, we had to learn on need to know basis. That's how I'm gonna say that. They would give us information on a need to know basis, and I'm like, when you new at something, you get a whole lot of stuff thrown at you one time. Yeah, you're gonna make a few mistakes. You're not gonna get everything right, but you need to know some things in the process. Okay, things you can do and things you can't do. It's called compliance. And those are the things that have you in a pickle if you screw up with the compliance part of what God is saying. But anyway, y'all, I just want to lay that out for y'all a little bit. Just stay connected to the blessing and feel your way through. Because in the long run, you'll probably say how they so blessed. Don't worry about how they blessed. Worry about how you could go and help them, and then have the blessing be connected. If you plug into the blessing, and the next thing you know, you being blessed. Remember that. Stay connected. Your blessing may lie in the connection that is me. My blessing may lie in the connection that is you. So realize that and understand that I'm going to stay connected to the blessing. All right. I love y'all and we'll talk soon. Thank you.